Good day, chaps and chapesses. I'm the Rolling Gherkin, and welcome to one of my all-time favourites. Well, a remake of it anyway. Crash Bandicoot: The Insane Trilogy. An absolute classic trilogy of video games, and like I said, probably my all-time favourite game trilogy. And I'm going to play through all three of them because I love these games very, very, very much. And, you know, may actually do consistent content for the channel for the first time in about 5 years. Hooray! I'm going to start a new game on the original Crash Bandicoot. And I will overwrite my old save. Because who needs that?
But Dr. Cortex, we haven't determined the cause.
I really, really love what they did with these games and how they've made everything look so, oh so pretty. Because it's a really good looking game, particularly on PC. Since remembering the original, the lip syncing of Cortex in there, he just continued to talk, like his mouth continued to open and close, even though he'd finished talking, because PS1.
The vortex is not ready. We have no idea what it could do.
I will say, I wasn't entirely fond of what they did with Brio's voice. Something's not quite right about it. I don't know. Same with Cortex. I know the guy who did the Cortex voice in this is the guy who did Cortex in, I think, Twin Sanity, or possibly. But it's just not the original Cortex. It's just not the same. And I know that's just nostalgia talking, and what this guy has done is very good. It's perfectly acceptable voice acting. It's just not quite the same, and it's just something about it that doesn't quite sit right with me. But here we are in the classic Insanity Beach. God, this game is just, it's special. Truly, truly special game. And I'm gonna, for once, have some potentially vaguely competent gameplay in on this channel, because this is a game I'm actually not bad at. I'd be very careful not to fall down the hole as soon as I said that, because that would be about right for me. That's what I normally do. But we'll see. I'm probably going to try and do 100%. All the gems. But I'm probably not going to do the relics because, well, my excuse for that is they weren't in the original Crash 1 or Crash 2. They were in Crash 3, they're part of 100%, but they're not in this really. So I'm not going to bother with them. But yeah, what can I say? But there we go. What can I say? I got to go back down here to get the last couple of boxes. I think that's all of them. It is indeed all of them. Now, just don't fall down the hole, bears, because that would be embarrassing. And there's the gem. And there we go. Level 1 done. Gem got. Perfect. Nice and easy. A good start. I always find the row of boxes over the pit on the right hand path. It's okay to run over it when you've got the mask, but if you do it too quickly, you'll sort of run fast and the boxes spawn, and you'll fall down the hole, and it's very bad. The good thing they did with this was the original Crash Bandicoot 1 at least. To get the gems in every level, you have to get every single crate, but you also have to do it without dying. Whereas in the remake, you just have to finish the level and get all the boxes. Oh, unless you're going to get one of the coloured gems, then you have to do those levels without dying. And typically some of the coloured gems are on some of the hardest levels in the game, like Slippery Climb. But I'm pretty sure Slippery Climb's got a coloured gem. Or am I wrong? I'm possibly wrong. It's endless masks right now though, which is nice. I mean, there's nothing to actually hurt me. Can't get the gem on this level yet because we need to get the green gem here, so the coloured gem platform will appear once we get the green gem. But that's in a different level. So I can't actually get the gem on this level yet anyway. Did I take some damage then? What did I hit? Oh, I cocked that up as well. I'm normally really good at hitting those, and I didn't. Because I'm recording, so of course I mess it up. I very rarely cock that up these days, but... on this occasion I did. Nearly messed that jump up then as well. This is the thing, this is one of the few games in the world that I can actually play to a decent level. But because I'm recording, I'm sure I'll make many, many dreadful, dreadful mistakes. And embarrass myself in front of the 3 or 4 people who will watch this video. But what can I say? I appreciate the 3 or 4 of you who watch my videos. I like making them anyway. It's fun. I get to play a game I love. A game I've played through many, many times in the past. Makes me sad there's only 3 boxes that sit in the gem area in this level. So you get so close to getting all the boxes, but not quite. Sorry, I was just turning my friend's stuff off on Steam, because I don't know whether it shows up in the recording or not. If it does, then you saw someone logging into a game before. But it's all good. Couldn't remember if this was the Great Gate or Native Fortress, and here we are at the Great Gate. One of the first levels I see people have trouble with. I'm going to try and not cock it up myself. I'm annoyed that I don't got my mask anymore because I managed to cock up with a TNT crate in the previous level. Something like I said, I very rarely do. I'm pretty sure this is another level you can't get the gem on first time around because you need a coloured gem later on in the level. I think you need the red one this time. I might be wrong. Look at me being knowledgeable about a game ahead of time. That's a good start, Baz. Just wait till Crash Team Racing comes out on PC, then I'll definitely be doing a video of competent gameplay. That's the only game I've ever actually been legitimately good at. But then again, even with Crash Team Racing, this is one of the few games I'm actually quite good at. But compared to what the people who are very good at it, I'm nothing compared to them. And I always thought I was really good. Then I watched videos online, and it made me sad. But yeah, I think one thing I find when people play this game is they try and play it too quickly, and that's why they find it harder. I think one of the things that this game is, it's all about taking your time. It's not a fast-paced game. You need to sort of, take your time with certain things, and it becomes a lot easier at that point. But I mean, these levels aren't particularly difficult anyway, this stage of the game. There are some levels in this game that are legitimately really difficult. This is definitely the hardest of the Crash games, by quite a considerable distance. Crash 2 has some bits that are a bit difficult in it, but nothing on the level of this. There's nothing like a slippery climb or the high road in 2 or 3. There's some hard secret areas in 2. I'll give it that. But like the critical path in this game's hard, so particularly once you get to the 3rd island. But that's just the way. And here's one of the classic Boulder levels. Every Crash game's got a variant of a level like this. Not always running away from a boulder. I think in 3 you run away from a dinosaur instead. What was it? I think you run away from a dinosaur instead. I know you run away from a dinosaur instead in 3. You also run away from a polar bear in 2, in one of them. To the checkpoint. Again, I see a lot of complaints of people saying they struggle with these levels. And, you know, now I'm saying this, I'm probably going to die, but I've never found them that difficult. Although one thing they did change between this and the original is the boulder didn't break the boxes that you missed. Whereas in this one it does. It did in 2 and 3, but on Crash 1 in the original, it didn't break the boxes you missed. Which made it a little bit more difficult. There we go, another gem. Nice and easy. Is it Papu Papu now? I can't remember. No, it's upstream first, then it's Papu Papu. God, I'm getting all mixed up, forgetting what I'm doing. Played it enough times I should bloody know what level comes next, really. There's Aki Waki. There's a Torna. Here's the thing about the original, the save system. I mean, on this game, the game will just auto-save between levels or manually save on the map screen when you want to. Whereas in the original, to save the game, you had to finish a bonus level. And some of the bonus levels later on in the game aren't easy. And in the original, you only got one go at them. If you fail the bonus level once, that was it. You were dead, you were done, you were gone. Whereas in this, you can actually retry the bonus levels after you've if you failed them once. So that's nice. I didn't spin away a Torna head then, did I? It was just a Wumpa fruit I spun away, wasn't it? I was just trying to not hit the fish. I think I'm just making things up now. I think I'm just being paranoid that I'm cocking up on the on a video. I'm trying to look my best. Don't want to go embarrassing myself now, do I? After all the big claims I've made about being good at this game. I think I did spin away a Torna head, you know. Well. That's not good. Shouldn't have done that. It's alright, you can't get the oh, is the other Torna head in the gem area, possibly. I can't remember. You can't get the box stop level yet anyway, so it doesn't really matter if I missed the bonus level. For once. It's all good. Right, here we are, Papu Papu. A boss they actually had to make harder in this version of the game because he was so pitiful in the original. He's still pretty easy, he says, probably got to get hit by him. That's it. All you do is avoid him hitting you. And jump on his head. Oops. And don't run into him like that. That would have been him dead in the original. And there we go. Certainly the easiest boss in probably any Crash game. But yeah, here's the first boss, so I think we can give him a pass. Cool thing I did on this game is you can also play as Coco, which was something you could never do in the original. Which was cool. Oops, that's not what I wanted to do. There are my other saves. But yeah, you can play as Coco if you want to as well. So that's one of the things you can do in this that you couldn't do in the original. You can also play as Coco. But I think we'll stick with Crash for now. We'll stick with the classic. Stick with what made the original great. We might switch to Coco later. It's always the way that. The last time I played this level, I managed to really mess it up and died like several times in a really easy jump, but I'm not sure why. Because I was playing it the other day. Because I like to play this game quite regularly because it's one of those games that I can never really get enough of it. I'm not entirely certain why. Right, this level has the first instance of a Brio bonus level. Which I think I need to get this box. There we go. If you don't do that, the token gets blown away by the TNT crate. So, have to be careful and thread the needle there. Oh, that was a little bit iffy. There we go. I think that's where I died last time, on that jump for whatever reason. It's a strange obstacle, these rolling stones. Oh no. Thought I couldn't get the crate up there for a second then. There we go. And into Torna. Completely wasting my mask, but it's all good. Still got Aku Aki. Unless I die. If I die in the bonus round, I'll lose all my Aku Akis. Which wouldn't be ideal. Get that life. Yep. There we go. I'm not quite sure why she stood in the trees like that. But at least in this version of the game, they make it so Cortex steals her away. Because in the original, she was just sort of stood there at the top of the trees in the bonus round, even though the whole point of the... Well, that's where I died last time. That's my first death, so let's put a death counter up. Death number 1. But yeah, in the original, she was just sort of stood in the... I knew I'd miss it, otherwise I had to jump back. But yeah, in the original, she was just sort of stood in the trees in the bonus level, and then that was it. She was just sort of there. I did it again. Oh dear. I'm embarrassing myself now. No! No! I've ruined everything. Oh, my whole life's a lie. I'm just going to uninstall the game now. But yeah, she was just stood there at the end of the trees. And you just sort of left her there. Even though the whole objective of the game, in the storyline at least, is to rescue Torna. So it was very odd. I'm just not going to bother getting that. Lost my Aku Akus though, which is a bit upsetting. After those deaths in that really simple jump that for some reason I've now died at multiple times in the multiple playthroughs. I'm not certain why. There's nothing particularly different about that jump. I guess it's a little bit more narrow than some of the other ones, but not massively. Can't get all the boxes in this level yet anyway. Another one that you need a coloured gem for. But might as well get as many as I can. Try and save up some Wumpa Fruit, save up some lives for later in the game. In case we end up needing them. There we go with an all-time classic of Hog Wild. Well, Crash wants to defile a hog, apparently, with the way he looks at the camera at the start. Particularly in the original. Right, let's try to not die. I think I've very rarely got through this level without dying at least once. It's just one of them. It's one of them. It's very easy just to make a slight mistake and end up dying. Oh, I thought I was going to run into him for a second then. So that made it. And on the drum. Yeah, thought I was going to die again then. There's some crates. Right, yes, left. Jump over it. I think the next one's going under it. Yes, it is. It is going under it, and I jumped anyway. Because I'm not quite sure why. I knew exactly what I needed to do, and then I did the exact opposite anyway. Because I'm a tit. It's all good. It's only one death. But I want to do the whole game without dying once. One day I'm going to try and do a no deaths run whatsoever. There's the gem. All the boxes. Damn it, I'm really annoyed I died there. But like I said, I always seem to die on those hog levels, at least once. And we've got one more level left on this island. Native Fortress. Now I think, generally, I mean like I said, the Great Gate I said was one of the first ones people have trouble with. I think this is the first one that people truly struggle with. From when I've watched other people playing it, etc. This is the first level that has quite a lot of precise platforming in it. A lot of slightly awkward enemies. It's just the way it is there. It's one of them. Again, like I said, it's all about taking your time, taking it slow, knowing where you go. Well, I say knowing where you're going. It's pretty easy to know where you're going. It's a corridor platform at this level. It's even not even a corridor. It's a side-scrolling level, but you know what I mean. It's just nice to know. It's good once you know what's coming up. I guess I should say. But yeah, I think overall with this remake, they did such a fantastic job with it. They did. Well, that was just rude. Cocked up spinning him a little bit there. But yeah, they did a generally fantastic job with it, because it feels... See, that's why you're meant to take your time. Then things like that don't happen. Every time I try to make a point, things start happening. Maybe we should stop making points more often, make it more interesting what I'm saying. But yeah, it feels very much like the original. This one, Crash 1 feels a lot less like the original Crash, but that's a good thing. Because the original was very stiff. Well, it wasn't very stiff, but it was a lot stiffer than 2 and 3. And all 3 games now all sort of play the same. Which wasn't true originally. I mean, you don't have the slide in this one, which you do in 2 and 3, but the feel of the actual platforming is the same across all 3 games, which was a good thing, because, like I said, the original was just a little bit stiffer, a little bit more awkward. That's just the way it was. It was still a great game, and it still played really nicely. It played really just fine, but it was just a bit stiffer than 2 and 3 were, which made it a little bit more awkward to play. That said, I do think that all 3 of them have held up exceptionally well. They're still really fun platformers, and I have always said this, and I know it's a slightly controversial thing to say, particularly on the internet. Whoops, I really cocked that up then. I think that it's held up better, and was frankly always a better game than Mario 64. I know for some people saying that is heresy, but I know it's partly nostalgia talking. Oh yeah, also here's a secret area, so you can avoid all this bullshit here. You don't need to do any of that. And there's no boxes there either, so you don't actually miss out on anything. Not that you can get the gem on this level get anyway, because I think this is another one you need a coloured gem for. But yeah, for some people saying something like that is absolute heresy, that this is better than Mario 64, but I genuinely believe it is. And I think that it's held up a lot better. Mario 64 for me always felt it's a little bit weird, a little bit awkward, and maybe that was partially to do with the N64 controller being very, very poo. Maybe that's part of it, and I always found it. I've always played this with a D-pad, because it was designed to work with the D-pad. Even this version of it, I play with a D-pad. The original didn't have analog support, at least not for 1. I think 2 and 3 did. Oops, I stay up here for another cycle. But I think 2 and 3 did, but Crash Bandicoot 1 didn't have any analog support. It was all D-pad based, so all the levels are designed with that in mind. And since the levels here are give or take identical to how they were originally, the game I feel plays better that way. And I've always said it. I think it's better than Mario 64. And I've missed my crate. I think that's the internet thinks I deserve that, so it's punishment for the heresy I'm spewing about the Golden Plumber Boy. I'm not saying the Mario 64 is a bad game. It really isn't, and it's probably a more important game in terms of 3D platformers, just due to its legacy and due to how much it popularised the genre. But I maintain, I still think this is a better game. That's just the way I think it's always going to go, in my opinion. But like I said, I was a PlayStation kid when I grew up. I always had Crash Bandicoot. I didn't have Mario 64. Didn't play it till years after it was relevant. So I guess I can't really truly speak honestly about it. But for me personally, looking at it objectively, I just think it's held up far, far better. Anyway, that is the end of the first island, and that will be the end of the first video in this series, where we're going to play all 3 Crash Bandicoot games to 100%. Thank you very much for watching and listening to me ramble about my all-time favourite, whilst being mildly competent at the game as well. A couple of slightly irritating deaths, but other than that, I think it's going quite well so far. Anyway, thank you very much for watching. I'll see you next time, hopefully, and goodbye.